Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. MashaAllah. Seeing the people pouring in, always very exciting. MashaAllah, Sister Dua. Welcome. MashaAllah. How are you, Sister Dua? You're muted now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Just let me close the door real quick.
No problem. Inshallah, we're going to be hearing from Sister Dua a little bit later in this. MashaAllah, she's a special guest that's visiting, MashaAllah, or with us from Ohio, MashaAllah. So welcome. We see the people coming in. The numbers keep on going up. I think I haven't checked actually recently. We had something like 150 registrants a little while back. So hopefully, the numbers will keep going up. Inshallah. We have a lot to get through today. So I'm going to jump right in to this. Bismillah. And I share my screen. Okay. And then there we go. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabb ishrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome everyone to how to find your Qibla this Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, this is a very exciting webinar. Obviously, Ramadan is right around the corner. Inshallah, obviously fasting starts on Monday, inshallah, or for most people. But Ramadan itself starts on Sunday, so we're here on Wednesday, just a couple days out. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this the best Ramadan for all of us. So this webinar, inshallah, we're going to get started. So Bismillah. So I'm going to turn on a little poll just to see who's with us. I know that people are going to keep on coming, but I'm going to launch this one nonetheless. So everyone who's here, if you can just click to indicate, did it launch? Yeah. Is anyone able to answer them? Yes, there they go. All right. So about whether you're a student or parent, what grade you're in, and what kind of school you or your child go to. Okay, so let's give this another little bit of time. We only have 38 so far. Not only, that's a lot, mashallah, but I've 39. I bet they'll keep on coming. I know some people told me they have Isha at this time and they're going to come a little late. If you have friends who you think would benefit from being here, you can just send them a quick message reminding them that this is happening or inviting them to it. The more the merrier, but inshallah. Okay, let's see. I'm going to give it another 10 seconds. We have about 70% of people have submitted. Oh, it says middle school student twice? Really? Thought I fixed that. My bad. Okay, I'm gonna end it. Bismillah and share the results. So this is what we have here. We have students of different kinds. MashaAllah, actually a big majority of students today. That's exciting. Not as many parents. We have a couple seniors. Ooh, no juniors. Where are the juniors today? 10th grade, 9th grade, 8th grade, and then a few earlier, and then some other. We have mostly kids from public school, mashallah, some Islamic schools, some private schools, and homeschool, mashallah. All right, that's great. So inshallah, we just say Bismillah, inshallah, set our intention well for this, and now we will get going, inshallah. So we have 3 goals, inshallah, for today's webinar. First of all, we're going to try to learn how students can have their best Ramadan academically, socially, and spiritually. Second, we're going to come up with a plan for all of us, students, adults, whoever is here with us, to make this the most transformative Ramadan of our lives, inshallah. We have to aim very, very high This is a very hard time that the world is going through, that our brothers and sisters in Palestine are going through, and we need to aim high with this Ramadan. And finally, I'm going to talk about how Find Your Qibla, the program that I mentioned, can help you achieve the highest levels of success in this world and the next, inshallah. So let's begin. Hopefully the chat is working. I think it is. I see a few people chatting there. I forgot. Usually in the very beginning, I have you say your name and where you're from. But so forgot to do that this time. Maybe actually just because people are still coming in, can you start with that with your just where you're joining us from? It's always interesting to see. So just type in the chat and make sure you're sending it to everyone, not just hosts and panelists, assuming you can. Hi, we have Manhattan. Sophia is from Manhattan. Who else? Yemen. Really? Subhanallah. Toronto, Cincinnati. Oh, Sister Dahlia. Assalamu alaikum. Hannah, mashallah. I'm seeing a lot of people I know and a lot of new people. Wyndham, Boston, Sacramento, Providence, California, Massachusetts. Okay, we have some Massachusetts. Egypt. Wow. Rochester, New Hampshire, Andover. Canada, Ontario, Canada, mashallah, Chicago, awesome, so cool. This is one of the things I most love about this job and this company. We have people from around the country, around the world. SubhanAllah, it must be very late in the day or very early in the morning, or rather in Egypt and Yemen. SubhanAllah, that's a first. We've never had anyone from Yemen before. Kansas, mashallah. That's great. Okay, so now try to think about one of your Ramadan intentions. We've all probably thought, Ramadan's coming around the corner. Hopefully we've thought about something. I just did this exercise. I was in the Islamic Academy for Peace in Methuen earlier today. I did it with all the students and asked them what their Ramadan intentions are. So just, I'll give you a little time. What we'll do? We'll do something called a tweet storm. So what I want you to do is I want you to write in the chat just a short, intention that you want to do. I'll give you maybe 1 minute to think of something and write it, and then I'm going to count down, and we're all going to hit enter at the same time, and then it's going to be like a waterfall of tweets or of chats. Okay, everyone understands? So come up with some sort of Ramadan intention, some goal that you have for this Ramadan. Type it in the chat, but don't actually hit return, don't hit enter until I count down, okay? So I'm gonna do it as well. Another 30 seconds or so to come up with something. Timer, 25 seconds. Think about whatever it is. It could be a spiritual thing, it could be Quran related or Tarawih related or anything. Okay. Okay, we're getting towards the end of that minute. Okay, ready? I'm going to count down from 3, and at 1, everyone hit return. Bismillah. 3, 2, 1, Bismillah. Okay. Let's see some of these beautiful Ramadan intentions. MashaAllah. Okay. Start praying Sunnah and Nafil Salat, read more Quran, forgiveness from Allah and reciting Quran, improving your Salat, finishing the Quran. I put 2 khatams of Quran, one in English and one in Arabic. Going to Taraweeh every day and learning the meaning of surahs, reading the whole Quran in Arabic and English too, mashallah. Praying Salat, every Salat on time, getting better at fasting, memorizing more Quran, informing more people about Ramadan and praying Taraweeh, reading the whole Quran, getting better grades, fasting, praying every prayer, memorizing big surahs, read and memorize Quran and be more aware of bad deeds and sins. Cut off bad habits. Get closer to taqwa. Make dua for Palestinians, Ameen, and all Muslims. Khatam of Quran. Fasting, making more dua. Set amount of Quran. More Quran, mashallah. The month of the Quran. Learn more surahs, get closer to Allah, pray all 5 prayers, build taqwa, tahajjud, Allahu Akbar. To my khatma, interactive and spiritual. I love that. Find my qibla. Allah, wow, you're in the right place, inshallah. Read more Quran, simplify the food menu and focus more on dhikr instead. I love that one. I wonder if that's a mom. I have a feeling maybe it is. Read a juz a day, pray more on time. Oh, it says allow everyone to copy the chat. Is panelists can chat with you know, text me afterwards or contact me. I can save the chat. It gets automatically saved for me. I don't know if I can change that setting now. If you know that I can, then let me know. But I don't want to get too distracted. Okay, so anyway, mashallah, beautiful intentions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of those intentions. May He give you tawfiq to put them in place. This is such an exciting time of year. We have butterflies in our stomach and so on. So let's keep going with this. So some of my Ramadan intentions. I mentioned the 2 Quran khatams, one in Arabic. Alhamdulillah, I've been doing that for a long time, but then also one in English, right? Because even though, mashallah, I studied Arabic for a long time, I still need to improve my understanding. And I think reading what I'm going to be listening to or reading in Taraweeh is going to help. Eating suhoor every day as a family. This menu in the middle actually is a little Ramadan hack for I think it was Tuba who mentioned that and the hack, like 15-20 years ago, my wife created this menu, and you can see it's got some food stains. It's been on our fridge ever since, and she actually sets the Ramadan suhoor menu and iftar menu for the last 15 years, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out of Ramadan prep and so on. Alhamdulillah, we still have a different dinner which rotates and things like that, but these are pretty much that. And alhamdulillah, you know, it's a great method. Trolling for barakah, that's just what I call it. I try to pray Taraweeh in lots of different places. I know some people like to go in one place. I also have the intention to pray some of my Taraweeh at home this year. I think that Ramadan during the pandemic when we prayed at home actually is a very special one, and sometimes you get even more khushu at home. And then I want to eliminate one distraction. For me, it's Reddit. That's one of my fitness places I waste time on the phone, so I want to just stop that. And then one really cool thing, if anyone's not familiar with it, is LaunchGood, amazing Muslim crowdfunding platform. They have an ability to automate your charity, where you can go in and you can set a specific amount you want to donate every day. You can even up it in the last 10 days of Ramadan, so $5 a day, $10 a day, whatever is easy for your family, and it will automate that for you. And you can go in as a family and choose which charities you go. But if you forget or you don't have time for that, it will automate and it will choose charities. And many of them are in Palestine and so on. So this is a great site founded by one of my very good friends, Chris Blavelt. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all that they do. Okay. So what are some of the challenges? And I love the hearts, mashallah. I like these webinars because they provide a lot of value, but I hate not being able to see people's faces except for, mashallah, Sister Dua. So I love the hearts. So whenever something touches your heart, send us a heart. Challenges of Ramadan as a student. So lunch can be awkward, right? You know, everyone's eating lunch, and what are you supposed to do? No one really understands what it's all about, right? Your friends, your teachers, people don't really know what's going on. You get asked that famous question, not even water, right? There's actually a website called Not Even Water. And it's a great actually little Ramadan explainer, so you can send that to people. But you'll get that question a lot. Tough to keep up your energy and focus when fasting, right? You might have tests, you might have exams, you might have to write essays on top of all the other Ramadan things that you're doing, so it's tough. It's sometimes hard to find a place to pray dhuhr. Some of you made the intention. Maybe it's been hard for you to pray 5 times a day before, or to pray all your salat on time, but you make the intention in Ramadan to do it, but you're not sure how to go about that. Maybe it's difficult to get Eid off, right? Your sleep is a big challenge in Ramadan. You don't have as much time if you're waking up for suhoor, if you're waking up for tahajjud, if you're praying Taraweeh late into the night. So sleep can be a challenge. And then obviously sports and exercise and managing that. Those are some of the challenges. Okay, so now we have Sister Dua with us, mashallah. So there is a WhatsApp group My wife Ruhina, if she can post in the chat. Oh, thank you for putting the launch good. Could you put the link for the WhatsApp group in the chat if you are able to? This is a chat that you can join. This is where I was made aware of something amazing called the Lunar Moms. This is not their logo. This is a Dolly ChatGPT AI creation that I wanted to have a visual for the slide. But I sort of like it has potential maybe.
Yeah,
But
nice.
this is Sister Dua. She's from Mason, Ohio, and mashallah, she came up with an amazing plan to bring Islam into the public school system there. So please, Sister Dua, tell us about the Lunar Moms.
Yes. So my name is Dara again, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it. A little background of when we started Lunar Moms. We actually started right when Ramadan switched to the school year. So, you know, the kids will be fasting during the school year since Ramadan was in the summer for a while. And when we switched to the school year, we wanted to make sure that the school was aware of the kids in the school, that they will be fasting and they will need some accommodations. You know, if they don't want to go to recess, if they don't want to eat lunch with their friends, if there's any other place that they can sit and eat lunch. So we ended up, it was me and a few other moms arranged to speak to the superintendent of the district and the public relation of the district. And we met and talked about how Ramadan changes every year, moves up 10 days, and now Ramadan is going to be during the school year. And these are some, some background of what Ramadan is and what they will experience with our kids. They were very open-minded and they were willing to listen to us. They actually arranged for us to meet with all the different principals in the different schools so we can explain to them what Ramadan is and what to expect from our kids. So we met with all the principals of the schools. We met with the teachers, all the teachers in the schools, explained to them, did a mini presentation of what Ramadan is, what to expect from kids. They were very receptive, listened to us, and they were willing to provide a place for the Muslims to eat during lunchtime. I mean, to do different crafts and activities during lunchtime, so they're not with their friends. But some kids chose to stay in lunch, which was fine, but other kids felt like they couldn't sit and watch their friends eating food. So they would sit in a different room and eat lunch. I mean, do their activity or whatever during lunchtime. So it was, we also provided books for, we got donations from the Muslim moms. We provided books for all the teachers from kindergarten to 4th grade about Ramadan, so the kids can, the teachers can read books about Ramadan during the month of Ramadan. And it was very successful thing for us, especially for our kids, to feel like they belonged in the school, that they were respected, they were celebrated. And they also ended up helping them create songs about Ramadan. So, during the holiday season, they're always singing songs about Christmas, Hanukkah, Diwali. And now they introduced Eid and Ramadan to the song list. So it just takes persistence and actually educating them, because many don't know, and many of us Muslims don't really push ourselves into the district. So when we did that, they were very understanding, they're very cooperative, and we made that connection, as we are here to educate you and help you in any questions you may have. We're here as your support. And I think the way we approached it allowed them to be very open-minded and listen to us and ask us whenever they needed any help or guidance on the Muslim kids in the district.
MashaAllah. And maybe you just mentioned this, but you also hosted iftars with the town officials to get.
Yes. So we did this the first year we started Lunar Moms. We actually hosted a community iftar dinner, and that was right the week before Ramadan started. And we invited the Mason City Council, the police officers, the fire department, the teachers, the principals, even the bus drivers, the janitors. We invited everyone. And we had like a little presentation. We had different booths where we talked about how Ramadan and Eid are celebrated around the world. And each booth had like desserts and different cultural aspects to it. And then we provided dinner, of course, and that's their favorite thing.
Yeah, mashallah.
Free dinner.
Hikma and
So
wisdom, ikram of the community and the
yes,
local officials, mashallah.
yes,
Yeah, so lots of wisdom here, and mashallah, the lunar moms I was telling you earlier is brilliant branding, marketing. It's
yes,
Muslim without being obviously Muslim. That's sort of what I was thinking with Five before college. It's a Muslim brand, but not like, mashallah. So that's that's beautiful story, inshallah. Like I mentioned, I actually met someone else from Mason who told me about the Lunar Moms and connected me with Sister Dua. But that's sort of really one of the big goals that I'm trying to do with this company, with Five Before College, and bringing, Muslims who are concerned about their academics and their college futures and so on, but also who are trying to maintain their Islamic identity, and especially in these public schools. And I know this year you said that you were not actually doing the iftar. Do you want to just share a little bit about that?
yes. So this year we decided we weren't going to do the iftar because of the situation in Gaza. We didn't feel it was appropriate to because it was really a celebration that we did right before Ramadan, that for the families. Also, they sent out an email right after October 7th. The public relation woman is actually a Jew, so she sent out a very biased email, and that kind of really frustrated the Muslim community here. We are a big community in the school district, so we showed up to their board meetings and expressed our anger and frustration with that email. They were, I think, because we had that connection and we had that communication as Lunar Moms, they were very receptive and listened to us, and actually within took 3 weeks, but they ended up sending an apology email, not apology, like a letter, taking out the words that were inappropriate, which was like the terrorist words and those things, like showing more compassion for the Middle East crisis right now and for everyone that's, having to deal with this issue. So, it wasn't what we wanted, but at least they put an effort to fix what they did in the beginning.
Beautiful, mashallah. And so anyone who wants to speak more with Sister Dua, inshallah, can connect with her. I'm sure you can chat directly to her, I believe, or maybe Sister Dua, if you're comfortable, you can share your contact information, or you can come to me and I can connect to you guys. But this is a beautiful initiative. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the Lunar Moms and help other people follow in your footsteps, alhamdulillah. Such a beautiful.
I'm okay with you sharing my information if anyone wants more information.
Okay, you can
share my number.
You're welcome to put it in the chat if you're comfortable.
Okay.
Inshallah. Okay, let's go back to this. Is this showing up right? It doesn't look like it's showing up right. Is it like full screen right now, or looks weird for me? Sister, do you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it, but it's like double screen.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's fixed.
But do you still see the screen?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
You can take me out.
Okay. Is that any better? Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bismillah. No, it's still going, right? It's good. All right, inshallah. So advice for students. So a couple things. Don't be afraid to ask for space to pray or where to go for lunch. What I find with a lot of students is they have these problems. Sometimes they're like this, sometimes they're other things, and they just don't do the obvious thing. If you don't ask, you're never gonna get it, right? So if you have some sort of issue that that's bothering you, whatever it is in your life, don't be afraid to ask. People aren't going to bite. The worst thing that happens is they say no. But in this case, inshallah, they will say yes. So, don't just sit awkwardly, come up with a plan, and especially finding a place to pray. And that doesn't need to be a Ramadan thing. That can be all the time. If we're practicing, Islam, and we decide to pray, like I say here, set a firm intention to pray all the prayers on time, and Allah will find a way. He will make it easy. Then another thing, change your mindset, right? Ramadan happens for you, okay, not to you. Some people, when Ramadan comes, they get upset and they're constantly they're in a bad mood all the time and so on. It's self-fulfilling when you decide that fasting is really hard and it's going to be a bad thing, right? And they think it's something to be endured. Instead, tell everyone else that it's your favorite month of the year. When they feel all sorry for you, not even water, right? Tell them that it's your favorite month of the year and mean it, because it is by far the best month of the year, right? And then in terms of academics, recognize that fasting actually sharpens the mind, right? Fasting is something that ultra successful people, CEOs, billionaires, and so on, they all do different forms of fasting because it helps improve the mental acuity and the sharpness. And maybe not in the very first couple days of Ramadan when you're getting used to it, but once you get into the groove of things, you'll find that. And especially if you have that niyyah and intention and belief that this is going to be helping my mind, you'll find that you can do it, that you can work better, especially when your energy is high. If you look at this, this is a diet that is very popular in like Silicon Valley. They call it the 5-2 diet. If you look at it, it's exactly what Rasulullah SAW told us to do, right? That we are supposed to fast on Mondays and Thursdays. If you look at that, we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's subhanallah, and there's another fast which is the Sawm Dawoodi every other day. And then of course we have Ramadan where we're fasting every day. So all of the stuff in our deen, later Westerners and other people have discovered, hey, this is a really productive thing, but we have it built in for us, right? And then we should set smart goals, goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Okay, so I wanted to give a couple of bonuses if Ruhina is available in the chat. So again, from this wonderful Path to College group, which has close to 900 people or something like that from all over the country, I had put out a call for people who had resources that they were sharing with their public schools and with the teachers, and two things were given. So let's see, is Ruhina able to drop those into the chat, inshallah? Inshallah, if she's not, then I'll be able to a little bit later. But is she, I can't see. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I just saw something in the Q&A section. If you have questions like about something that's said or anything, put those in the Q&A one as opposed to the chat, because those get dealt with a little bit separately. Anyway, hopefully we'll definitely put these things in the chat. Here they come. All right. So one of them is this accommodating Muslim students in Ramadan. This is a really cute, beautifully illustrated practical tips for educators. It's a great thing to give to your teachers, especially of the younger students and so on. And then the other one's just a one-page flyer that again is just sort of an informational thing to give some advice and recommendations and so on. So this is a great thing to share with your children's teachers, with the administration of the school. And inshallah, if anyone else has resources like this, please share them with me so we can get them out to the world, inshallah. All right. Let's see. All right. Then we need to make these high himma intentions, right? I think this is a really scary hadith. It was narrated from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh that he said, there are people who fast and get nothing from their fast except hunger, and there are those who pray and get nothing from their prayer but a sleepless night. So we don't want to be in the state where we're doing the external fasting, but we're not doing the internal fasting, right? So for students, this is really important, right? Imam Ghazali, rahmatullahi alayhi, he talked about in his book, The Secrets of Fasting, he talked about 3 levels of fasting. Right? So there's the ordinary fasting. Essentially, we don't eat or drink and all that stuff during the day, right? That's what, inshallah, we all do. There's special fasting, right? This means, in addition to not eating, we keep our ears, eyes, tongue, hands, and feet, and everything else free from all sin. Right? This is a much higher level of fasting, and one that so many of us struggle with. We're still backbiting or complaining or listening to things we shouldn't listen to, or and things like that. And then there's extraordinary fasting. So this is when the fasting of the heart, the highest level is fasting of the heart from unworthy concerns and worldly thoughts, in total disregard of everything but Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is really a challenging high level, but in any case, we need to understand that Ramadan is not just about not eating and not drinking, right? There's more to it. Our character should also improve, and people should notice this about us. Um, so just I'm going to briefly go into some Ramadan sort of performance ideas, right? There are 3 things that we really need to focus on in order to have a high performance Ramadan where we really do well. So obviously there's energy management, focus management, and routine management. So in one of the main things that we do is we need to be careful about what we eat all year, but especially in Ramadan. So if our our iftars and our suhoors look like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I like my pakoras, I like my samosas, I like all of that stuff just like everyone else, right? But if that's what we eat every day, not only obviously is it not great for our health, it's also not good for our mind. Our mind's not as sharp, right? So any of those sorts of comfort foods, right? 80% of the time we should try to avoid those. Okay? Have a cheat day, have Friday or whatever, or the weekend or something. You can do those, but in moderation, especially when you're, if you go to people's houses all the time, it's difficult. Then what are you actually supposed to eat and do? So fruits and vegetables have a lot more proteins, okay, 1-to-1 between proteins and carbs, low glycemic index things, and then water, water, water. This is such an important thing that as soon as Maghrib comes, we should start hydrating and so on. And there's a lot of other things, supplements and other things, but we'll just go over some basics. So how to manage sleep in Ramadan. This is a big one, right? This is one of the hardest things. Hamza, this is the last year that Ramadan is going to be on the other side of the what do you call it? The time change. Right? When I first became Muslim, Hamza, it was March, just like it is now. And then it got progressively earlier and earlier. When I was in college, we were breaking fast at like 4:30 in the afternoon. It was crazy. And obviously, we've just recently been in the summer where the days were incredibly long. So this is the last Ramadan where the whole month is on the other side. Sunday is the day it changes, and then Monday we start fasting, right? So sleep is still, I know here in Boston, Taraweeh doesn't start till something like 9 o'clock. Suhoor is relatively early in the morning, right? So it can be difficult. Inshallah, we'll try to get to questions a little bit later. You can also put them in the Q&A. So sleep cycles and Ramadan. So this was a big learning. I took one of my teachers is Muhammad Faris from Productive Muslim. I highly recommend everything that they do. They have a great high performance Ramadan course where I learned a lot of this stuff. But one of the big takeaways was the way sleep works. I never really knew this, that we sleep in cycles, and the cycles are on average about 90 minutes long. Right? So sometimes you wake up and you feel refreshed and everything. Sometimes you wake up and you're still totally groggy, right? When that second thing happens and when you're feeling like you have no energy, most likely you've woken up in the middle of a sleep cycle when you were in deep sleep, right? Whereas if you wake up right after the REM sleep, that's the dream sleep or the rapid eye movement sleep, right? That's usually when your body is ready to wake up. So you want to sleep in multiples of 90, essentially, or something close to it. Not everyone's cycle is exactly the same, right? So that means practically in Ramadan, sometimes getting 4.5 hours of sleep is better than getting 5 or 5.5, right? Because that's just the way the sleep cycle works. So don't look at it just as a pure number, and look at what that does. That wakes you up in time for you to pray tahajjud as well, which is something we've been told to do. Now, obviously, that's not a lot of sleep. 4.5 hours, if you're doing this consistently, it can be difficult. So definitely catch up with naps, or maybe you can pack 4 sleep cycles into your day. But essentially, and this goes for all year, not just Ramadan, try to sleep in these multiples of 90, inshallah. Okay, so I just wanted to give a second bonus, for all the students who are here. I've been trying to collect, I just taught a study skills class, barakah boosted study skills class, and we wanted to, we taught about a lot of things, including some things that people didn't expect, a lot about AI and how to use AI in the classroom and so on. But one of the other things we did was we brought in we wanted to help people perform by pointing them towards great resources, great YouTubers and other things to learn things about, whether it's about Islam, whether it's about STEM and homework help around biology and chemistry and so on. Some of these you might be familiar with, but some of them will be new. They definitely were new to me. So Hamza, one of my students, created a beautiful Notion page that hopefully Ruhina has put in the chat. Yep, there it is. Ooh, I see lots of interesting stuff in the chat. I don't go there very often. All right, let's keep on going. So those are the basics of Ramadan, but I said in the beginning, I want to make this be the most transformative Ramadan of our lives. So if we want to make it the most transformative Ramadan of our lives, we can't just do the same thing we've always done. We need to have a higher, a bigger intention. So how can we use the barakah of this month to make a lasting change in our lives that will lead us to success in both dunya and akhirah, right? So we need to set our niyyah. Ya Allah, I'm going to use this month of Ramadan, this month of fasting, to actually change my relationship with you, to come up with a vision for my future, to come up with a vision for what I'm trying to do with my life. And Ya Allah, you please lead me, to success and so on. So I want to do another poll with you. If you're in my WhatsApp groups, you may have seen us do this before, but alhamdulillah, we have a new crowd here. So I'm going to, how do I turn on this poll? Polls. Okay, back. Launch. Okay, so all you need to do is go in here and just choose your top 2 priorities. Okay, so getting good grades and getting into a top college, feeling good about myself and where I'm going in life, finding a career path that aligns with my strengths and values, discovering my passion and figuring out ways to pursue it, and improving my relationship with Allah and Islam. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of time. So choose 2. Please don't choose. I couldn't restrict it, so but to get good data, I just want you to choose 2, just to see what our priorities are of the people in this group. Okay, so we have about a third of people. We have close to 80 people now. So let's give it another 20 seconds. We're up to 50%. Interesting data, mashallah. Similar but not identical to what I was seeing in the chat. More data is coming in. I love data, by the way. There's nothing quite as nice as data because I can guess what people care about, but finding out for sure is by far the best. Okay, I am going to end the poll and share the results. Hopefully you're able to see that. Okay, so we have the most important thing, almost everyone, 87% chose improving my relationship with Allah and Islam, right, as one of their top ones, mashallah. Getting good grades and getting into a top college, mashallah. I shouldn't be surprised you came to the right place. That is my specialty, inshallah. And then the next one, finding a career path that aligns with my strengths and values. So actually, in the main chat, those two are flip-flopped. The most popular by far was improving my relationship with Allah. Then it was finding a career path, and then getting the good grades. And then the other ones, mashallah, very, very interesting data. So let me stop sharing and go back to this. I'm just gonna go to the Q&A because I see people keep raising their hands. So if you have a question, please just put it in the Q&A, and either I'll answer it or Ruhina will get to it, inshallah. All right. All right, so the most common questions I get asked as a college counselor, I'm in meetings with parents and students throughout the week, all the time, and so certain questions keep on coming up again and again. Okay, so students often ask me, does this insert extracurricular, whatever it is, look good for college? Very, very common question I get, and I can, inshallah, share my take on it later. The parent, my kid doesn't listen to me when I give him advice. Right? I can tell you, I don't know where I put it, but the other day, I made a deal with my son. We like had a little wager type going, halal bet, and I won. And what he had to do was read 50 pages of the book Atomic Habits. Now he's a sixth grader, right? So Atomic Habits is not necessarily a book that sixth graders seem to love. And of course, his dad told him to do it. So even though this is the sort of thing I tell my students all the time, and they're like, "Yeah, Atomic Habits," and I'll read it, when parents tell their kids to do something, it doesn't always go that way. So I found this. I wanted to show it to you, but I don't know where I put it. But I came down to my desk the other day, and there was this hand-drawn thing that my son had made of like a gravestone with Atomic Habits, and there was all this blood over it. So you have to be careful. Kids don't always listen to what their parents tell them. I have no idea what I want to do with my life or what to major in. Very common thing. Parents often tell me, I didn't go to college here, so I don't know how to help my kids. Okay, mashallah, that's one of the features of this particular market. Obviously, there's lots of college people out there, but many Muslim parents immigrated here, mashallah. They've made great lives for themselves. They're doing well, but they didn't go to college here, and they want to give their kids the best things. Students, I'm afraid of what other people will think if I pray at school, right? People don't usually come outright and say that, but if you dig a little deeper and get to those reasons, that's something that they often say. And parents, sort of what you just indicated in that chat, I'm afraid my child is losing touch with their deen by growing up in this country, especially when people are going to public schools and being exposed to all sorts of other things. So these are some of the common questions. And so I tried to design a program called Find Your Qibla, which tries to solve all of these issues. So if we think about what is the Qibla, right? Obviously, we all know this, mashallah, but the Qibla is the direction towards Mecca, right? This is the direction that we pray, when towards the Kaaba, right? How do you find it? Okay, it used to be, back when I first became Muslim, they actually had a compass built into the prayer rug. I don't know if you guys have seen this. If you've seen this, you can let us know or give us some thumbs up. But that's how you would figure out whether it was facing the Qibla, right? Now we all have apps on our phone, right? And we just sort of flip the phone around to get the compass working, and we find the Qibla, right? But if we think about it, what is the Qibla, right? What does that mean? It's this direction that we go, right? How do compasses work, right? Compasses, right? They point towards the north, right? They orient you. They use the magnetic poles of this earth to point you towards the north. Now, if you're in Yemen, mashallah, like the brother who is here, The Kaaba or Qibla is to the north, right? From where we are, it's to the northeast. From other places, it's to the west, right? But you need that Qibla, you need that compass to figure out which direction you're going, right? If we're stuck in the wilderness, if we get lost in the forest, we need something to show us the way, and we would use, we would use this compass, right? So ultimately, our Qibla, to use it more metaphorically, has to be first and foremost to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and win in the akhirah. Because if we leave this world with the kalima on our tongue, right, and sincerity in our heart, then inshallah, ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ, right? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will announce, today I'm pleased with you, and never again will I be displeased. If we make it to Jannah and Jannat al-Firdaus, right, then we have succeeded, and it doesn't matter anything else, our bank balance, nothing else matters, obviously. So ultimately, our primary goal, my primary goal in everything that I do, all the work I do with students, is to achieve that first goal, that we have an akhirah orientation, that we're living for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so on. But obviously, there's more to it than that. When I first became Muslim, right, I got that, mashallah. I had that as my goal, but I forgot to sweat the small stuff. Like, okay, how are you gonna actually live, design your life and make a living? Alhamdulillah, eventually it came together, but it's taken a long time to figure that out. So it's not enough, right? لا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا, right? Don't forget your portion of this world. You need to plan for that as well. So we need a qibla, and what is that? It's like a vision for our ideal life. That thing that we're seeking, that thing that we're trying to do. One of my favorite poems is called "A Summer Day" by Mary Oliver, and its very last line has always stuck with me. She says something like, "Doesn't everything die eventually and too young?" And then the last line, "What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Right? MashaAllah, we have so many teenagers in this room right now. We have so many students. You have your whole lives ahead of you. So what is it that you plan to do with that? How are you going to design a life, inshallah, that brings you to Jannah, but also, really makes your hayat dunya, a meaningful one of impact and joy and pleasure and all those kinds of things. We need to come up with a plan for this, right? So I want to do a little thought experiment. So I can't see you to see whether you're actually doing this. But what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and we're going to do a little visualization. Okay? So please, everyone, close your eyes. Let's take a couple deep breaths. So breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in again. Breathe out. Okay, keep your eyes closed. I want you to embark on a journey 15 years into the future, right? So if you're 15 years old, it's 15 years into the future, right? You're 30 years old or so, right? Whoever you are, adult, student, whoever you are, go 15 years into the future and imagine it's just a normal morning. You're not on the best vacation of your life. It's just your normal morning. This is your life, right? It's your normal morning, but it's the life where you've achieved your dreams. I want you to try to picture what that life looks like. Okay? So where are you living, first of all? Are you living in a city? Or are you living in a cabin on a mountainside? Are you living in this country? If so, where are you living? Sorry, I say this country. There are a lot of people from outside of this country. Are you living in the United States? Are you living outside? Where are you living? Okay? Where's the closest masjid to you? Okay? Think about that. Like try to picture where you're living. Where's the closest masjid? Right? Okay, now look out into your driveway or your parking spot in the apartment building or wherever you are. What car is there? Okay? And give yourself permission to dream big. Try to make it a nice car or whatever car you like. Right? The sky's the limit. We're imagining things here. Okay, what car is there? Okay. Now you go to the bank, right? And you check your bank balance. What do you find? How much money is in your bank account? How does this impact your day-to-day decisions? Let's say that there's quite a lot of money in there. How does that change your life? Try to imagine how that might be changing your life. What vacation are you planning with your family? Are you married, maybe? We didn't even ask that. But what vacation do you have? What Ramadan is coming and you want to give in charity. What charity are you going to be able to support, mashallah, because of all the success that you've had? So try to feel this. Try to see what it tastes like. Try to really, really deeply in your mind get this vision. Okay, you can come back. You can open your eyes, inshallah. I want to see what some people saw. So I'm gonna just open this chat up. Mashallah, I see a lot of stuff going on. All right. I saw the poem. The poem is called The Summer Day. All right, where are you living? Where are people living? Okay, I see Layla Sayed, mashallah. I'm living in a big house in Japan, and the closest masjid is 2 blocks away. The car I drive is a yellow Mercedes. My bank balance is in the millions. Allahu Akbar. Other people can be typing, inshallah. Even if you don't do the whole thing, do some of it. I work as a chemist in neuroscience, solving cancer. Wow, what a great intention. For vacation, I take trips with my friends to exotic places. Alhamdulillah, I do poetry as a side hustle. Just finished my master's at Oxford and I'm taking a break for the summer. Wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful, right? Other people. That's such a beautiful one. It's hard to live up to that. Live in the USA. Uh, what do you mean you wish you could live in an Arab country? We're doing a thought experiment. You can live wherever you want, right? Say kun fayakun. When you go to Jannah, right? You say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you that power that you say be and it becomes, right? Obviously, we're not in Jannah now, right? But we're doing an experiment. Don't put any limits on yourself. You can do whatever you want to do. You can achieve whatever you set your heart out. So don't put any limits. Living where I am, my family is here, mashallah. Think about those cars. Did anyone have a good car in their driveway? I did this earlier today, and what were some of the cars? I think there was a Lambo. Someone had some sort of BMW that I wasn't familiar with. Tesla Model Y. Living in Dubai, going to Pakistan. Range Rover Tesla SUV, mashallah. Financially free, repaying my parents and family members. Beautiful. Successful business. Okay. Ooh, bank balance, very specific. $500,000, 986. I love it. Right? A pink Prius. Oh, that's my wife or my daughter. I don't know which one. Interesting. Um, Bank account is over 100 million. I have a green Porsche 911, an orange Lambo, and a red Ferrari. Living in Europe, maybe Turkey, and also a house back in the US. Work in business. For vacations, I hop on the yacht. Yes, sir. And go to Hajj. MashaAllah, you got it all going. MashaAllah. Allah accept your intentions. Okay, but MashaAllah, now they're coming in. I forgot to even mention your job. That was supposed to be part of this whole thing, but most of you guys are saying that. What it looks like. So mashallah, it's beautiful. And I don't mean to just say that this is all about the material things that you're going to have, but that it's okay. I think when I first became Muslim, I was afraid to like make dua for material things, afraid to make dua for a bigger bank balance or a nicer car, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His treasures are abundant, right? And you can actually accomplish so much. And you almost have a responsibility as a student in this country, if you're here in America, no matter where you're from or what school you are or what your family's financial situation is, you are in the 1% or you're in the top 5% nationwide, and you have opportunities that other people would die to have, right? By virtue of being here. But in order to get those opportunities, you need to dream big. You need to have that thought experiment, right? Because it's an amazing thing when you think big, right? And you have a vision for where you're going, then it's almost magical. These are 2 book recommendations. I highly recommend you guys, try to get these books in your hands ASAP. Okay, I've done the last 2 years with my students. Last year we read The Magic of Thinking Big. This year we're reading Think and Grow Rich. They're both classics. Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937, and it's still very, very fresh and very, very relevant. And The Magic of Thinking Big, right? Same thing. These are old books, but they give you permission, right, to take the blinders off. They give us permission to dream big and essentially Think and Grow Rich. That's the whole idea, right? That you just need to have a vision for where you're going, right? And you know, let your subconscious mind start to take over, and then you're going to achieve these amazing things, right? But the problem is we don't have a vision. And the problem is we run into obstacles, and then you know, we fall down once, and then we give up on all of our dreams. And we say that's not possible, right? I heard about an experiment that people did with a type of fish called a pike, right? So a pike is a carnivorous fish. It eats other fish, right? And so they did an experiment where they put this pike into an aquarium, right? The pike was on one side, and then they put minnows, which are the prey, the things that the pike eats, on the other side, and they put a glass divider between them. Okay. So as you can imagine, what happened? The pike saw the minnows, and it swam after the minnows, and it ran into the glass. Okay, it did that a few times, and then it learned, okay, I can't get there. There's a barrier, right? So what did the pike do? It started swimming on its side, just looking over, but it knew it knew that its dream, its lunch, its what it was out of reach, right? Eventually, the people doing the experiment removed the glass, right? And what do you think happened? Nothing. The pike still swam in its thing because it had put a barrier. It had decided that it could not go there, and therefore it didn't ever try again. Right? The reality is success is messy, right? Oh, that slide's coming up a little later. Success is messy, and you have to fall down a lot before you get there, and you need to have that resilience, right? Because you have a vision of where you're going and what your life is going to look like, and you're not going to let some little setback. You're not going to let you have your, you know, when you set your goal as I'm going to get into X university, I'm going to get into Harvard, I'm going to get into MIT, I'm going to go to Stanford, or else I'm going to be miserable, right? That is not the way to think. You need to look beyond college. College is a stepping stone for your future life, right? And in order to get into that level of college, you need to have a vision for your life that's way bigger than the other kids who are all around you. Everyone's thinking the same thing. Everyone's asking that question, is this going to look good for college, right? You need to figure out what looks good for you. You need to figure out what your qibla is. What are you trying to do with your life? If you figure that out, then the sky's the limit, right? And then you're going to make decisions based on that, knowing where you're going, that are going to get you to that destination. And when a college sees a kid who's fully alive and knows who they are and has a vision for what they're trying to do, and it's going to be in Japan and doing poetry as a side hustle, mashallah, that was so beautiful, right? They are going to be impressed by that kid. And that's the one who's going to get that coveted admission spot at that top college, right? Okay, so we did the thought experiment. That's one way to do this. I want to show one other little exercise that I think is really cool. It's called the 101 list, right? I'm actually doing a group coaching program myself, right, to learn how to be better at my job and learn how to be a better coach and run a more a business that brings more value to the world, right? And this is one of the things they had me do. And I really got a lot of benefit. So essentially, we were told you had to come up with 101 things that you want to either do, be, or have. Okay, so things you could do: go skydiving, learn how to surf, uh, you know, um, uh, go for Hajj multiple times, those sorts of things. Be fluent in Spanish, become a CEO, be a Hafiz of Quran. Have, right, things in the bank account, type of car, maybe a good relationship with your family and so on. So what you do is and anyone can do this. Pick up a piece of paper. I prefer to do it by pen and paper. I'm old school analog person like that. Or you can type it, right? And just let your imagination go wild. Okay? Don't filter. That's what brainstorming is. Don't think that's impossible. I can't do that. Why did I even think that? Just whatever comes to your mind, write it down, right? This 101 list, right? And so I did that, and I started go to paradise with my entire family, live in Turkey for 6 months, master Arabic, build 5 before college into a 7-figure company, build a dock up in Maine where I have, buy a boat, a Boston Whaler, grow my Substack to 50,000 readers, right? So very specific, random things. It was just whatever was popping into my mind. Then, alhamdulillah, we live in the age of AI. So an amazing thing about AI is you can take a picture of handwritten text and you can do this with an iPhone as well, but I find the ChatGPT, it does better, although you do need the paid version. But and then anyway, it will transcribe it. So I did that. I transcribed my 101 list, and then this is where AI comes in. I said, can you please split this into 5 categories? When I was thinking, I didn't know whether I was doing be, have. I was just going with whatever was coming to my heart. I said, can you put this into 5 categories so I can start thinking about it? And within seconds, it said, okay, you have personal development goals, family goals, adventure and experience goals, which my wife pointed out was by far my longest list, financial goals, and spiritual goals, right? And mashallah, then it's very helpful for me to see and refer back to, right? And get that magic of thinking big. So this is a great exercise. I highly recommend you guys do it, right? And just remember, you need to have faith. You need to have faith in yourself, right? Believing yourself, right? Believe in Allah, believing yourself, and then you can move mountains. Your faith, right, can move mountains, but your doubt can create them. Right? When you doubt this, when you start to bring all the reasons that it's not possible, that I can't do this, right? Then it's not going to happen. That doubt, that seed of doubt that gets planted, that's what prevents us from achieving greatness, right? So think doubt and fail, think victory and succeed. So this is what we need to do. This is why I have created this whole thing. This was the slide I thought was before, right? The success, right? What people think it looks like, straight to the being the CEO of the company. What it actually looks like, it's really messy. Every single successful person is really messy. They fall down and make more mistakes than other people, but they're always taking action and they're always going forward, right? And this one, I love this quote, your I can is more important than your IQ. School rewards your IQ and your intelligence and your book smarts, but the quality that I've seen by far is the biggest predictor of actual success in the real world is not your GPA, it's not your IQ, it's your I can, that your grit that you can have it. And as one of my friends pointed out in that WhatsApp, your Iman, your Iman, is even more important than your I can, right? That's the highest level. So the goal of Find Your Qibla is 5 things. I always do things in 5. First and foremost, form an unshakable bond with Allah Ta'ala. This program is launching now during Ramadan. It's an incredible time for us to change our lives. We should all, whether you do this program or you don't do this program, we should use this Ramadan as a time to change our lives. The second reason is to dig deep and discover our Qibla, right? We need to come up with a big vision for our Hayat dunya. Okay, our main Qibla, right? I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong if I say anything wrong, but that there's a Kaaba here on this earth that we humans go around, and then above the Kaaba, this is where the angels circle, right? So I sort of think of that Kaaba in the sky. That's our connection with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, right? But then we have to come up with a Qibla here, something, our vision that we're going towards, right? But then to get more practical and more tangible and less sort of up in the sky, you need to work backwards from that vision and design something that I call a Saturday morning project that is directly connected to that dream vision. Because when you apply to college, right, one of the things that's going to differentiate you, lots of people take lots of APs, right? Lots of people have good scores on the SAT. Lots of people do a lot of different extracurriculars and Model UN and debate club and robotics and this. Do all those things. Those are important. Don't do too many of them. Figure out a few. Become a pointy student who's really, really good in 1 or 2 areas, right? But what most of the really competitive applicants at the top schools have is they have something that's sometimes called a passion project, or a showstopper is another way, and I call it a Saturday morning project. Right? This is something that you're excited on the weekend to wake up early for. Right? You're so into it, your side hustle or whatever it is, that you're so excited that you're willing to even give up some of your time in bed to do that project because you're so excited, and it aligns with this ultimate vision. Because ultimately, applying to college is just storytelling. You're telling your story, right? But you need to have data to back up your story. You need to have something there. And so when you start this, and when you're 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and you come up with some sort of a vision, right? So it might be to create a blog. It might be to create a YouTube channel. It might be to create a little free library, right? That's what I want to do with my son. I want to create one of those little free libraries and put it in my neighborhood and spread knowledge that way. If you, people have created nonprofits. One of my students who, mashallah, got into UPenn, she created this amazing nonprofit that connected students from her school district with students in Kashmir, right? And they were doing tutoring online, sometimes in the middle of the night with these students over there. And then she arranged a physical trip where she went over and visited those kids that she'd been tutoring during that time. Other people, there are so many things. The key is that they need to align with something. Now, lots of college consultants do something like this. They call it like resume building or candidacy building. This is often what they recommend for people in the first half of high school, especially, to be focusing on coming up with this, passion project and so on. But most of them, the way it works is you pay them quite a lot of money, and they pretty much do the work for you. They have a couple meetings, then they have web designers who are overseas, and they have other people, and they get your podcast, and they do all the work, and then they say, okay, here's your podcast, right? And you record a couple of episodes. There's probably other people edit for you and so on, and then you apply to college and you say, I had this podcast and blah blah blah, right? And then as soon as you get your acceptance letter, what do you think happens with the project? It disappears, right? Very few people, because those things aren't really coming, those are artificial things. I'm not saying they don't work, right? Clearly, people wouldn't spend the money if it didn't work. These things do have an impact, but college admissions officers are pretty good at sniffing out authenticity. And my vision is to help you actually come up with a real vision and a real Saturday morning project, right? And inshallah, the ultimate goal of, practical goal is to get into the college of your dreams, inshallah. We're almost done. I know we're a little bit over. This is just an overview of the program. It's a cohort of up to 12, maximum of 12 extraordinary Muslim teenagers. It's an 8-week program. It starts the first week of Ramadan, inshallah. There's 2 weekly group meetings. And the reason I do that is there are a lot of reasons, but what I found, we just finished the class with the study skills. We had 25 kids roughly from around the country, around the world, and they inspire each other. And the type of kids who are going to do this program, you're going to learn, I'm going to learn as much from them as they will from here. So 2 weekly group meetings. One will be me teaching, sort of like I've done here. And then one will be more like a troubleshooting Q&A, interactive office hours type thing, where any questions that they have during that week, they come to. And then weekly one-on-one meetings as well with me, right? Because the group work is good for some of the big picture stuff, but ultimately people need to get into their own specific situation and solve their own problems and come up with their own vision for what they're trying to do. There'll be daily mindset work, some of the stuff we just did about dreaming big. You can't hear that one time and it just happens automatically. It's a habit that you need to start doing, and I'll teach you how to do that. And then weekly assignments, right? Things like that 101 list is one of them, and there will be lots of other assignments like that to try to get to this, to this goal of visioning our life. And the deliverable at the end will be the Saturday morning project. Right? Inshallah, by the end of this course, you're going to design and come up with the Saturday morning project that's aligned with your qibla, right? That's aligned with your vision for where you're going in life. And so, inshallah, you'll hopefully you will, inshallah, get into the college of your dreams, inshallah. So, if you're interested in learning more, you can fill in this short application. This course is definitely not for everyone, right? It's it is a course that you need to be committed to. I know that there may be concerns. I don't have enough time. I'm in the middle of APs and so on. It's not a huge time commitment, right? But you do, like, the assignments won't take very, very long. Like the 101 list took me 45 minutes, but that was that was 45 minutes of deep thinking. A lot of people are allergic to deep thinking, right? So it takes real desire to actually do some work, because it doesn't come easily. So you need to be able to do that. You need to be an action taker, right? Someone who actually is going to not just get paralyzed by analysis, is going to take action. and start to implement these things, come up with that Saturday morning project and start actually getting the project rolling and so on. So essentially there's this. I hope that Ruhina's put it in the chat. Is it there? No. Okay, this one's an important one, so I'm going to see if I can. I don't know how to do this. Sorry, we really need to get the link. Copy, no. Copy. All right, I will put it in the chat if it's not already there. Oh, there it is. Of course. All right, I'm gonna keep putting it. Keep putting it. All right, so essentially what this does is this takes you to a short application form. Sorry, I'm gonna put this back on. Hopefully it's still showing. It's going to take you to a short application form where I get to know a little bit more about you, and then if it looks like it's a good fit, then it will take you to the ability to book a meeting with me. And during that meeting, that's when we can discuss all the details. I'm sure people have lots of details about length and when does the meeting happen and what does it cost and all those kinds of things. In my experience, a lot of times when something like this comes in front of you, an opportunity comes in front of you, Shaitan doesn't want you to do this, right? Shaitan doesn't want you to figure out your life and come up with this. And so he's going to whisper a lot of things, why I shouldn't do this and so on, right? Don't look in terms of what you think is possible. Don't look at your bank balance or your your timing and so on. If what I've been saying seems interesting to you and you want to learn more, then do this and let's have a good conversation about it. Sometimes this program isn't the right one, but I can let you know about other things that we do or other ways that we can serve you. Or say I don't know if you're ready for this quite yet, but let's stay in touch about it. Okay, so this is how it works. And I think that's just about it. So let's use this Ramadan to come up with a plan for how you will change the world. How is this Ramadan going to be different for you? How can you start today? If you don't mind, if you're still here, I know we went over time a little bit, but what was the most memorable thing you learned today? What's something that you're going to take away? Can you just type that into the chat? What's something that stuck in your mind that I should definitely say next time I talk? 90-minute sleep cycle. Okay, school. Okay, that's a little broad. Not being afraid of speaking up. Saturday morning project. Not thinking big enough. Beautiful. What else? Quote about moving mountains with faith and doubt. Awesome. MashaAllah. Saturday morning project. Excellent. I can is better than your IQ. Awesome. Think big without considering the barrier in mind. Get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Philistine, Allahu Akbar. The quote is like, yeah, I can and the IQ. Yep. MashaAllah. To not be afraid of having high hopes. Yep. What we're going to do with this one special life we have. Yemen. MashaAllah. Give yourself permission to dream big. Okay, build more discipline. I should actually try for school. I hope that you decide yes, inshallah. How to make this Ramadan more productive. Be and it will be. Allah, mashallah. May Allah have this yaqeen. Exactly. It can't be a belief. It needs to be yaqeen. Ilm al-yaqeen. We need to believe. Believe in Allah, believe in yourself, and you can move mountains. You can. People have before us. Look at these people who don't even have Islam in their lives, what they've been able to build. Look what Elon Musk has brought to the world or has wrought on the world or however you want to look at it, right? We have Islam. We have Allah on our side. We need to use the power of our dua to change the world. MashaAllah. No limits. How to get closer to Allah. Have a strong intention. MashaAllah. Not to be ashamed to fast in school and answer questions regarding it. Beautiful. These are so beautiful. I agree. We need to save this chat. There's so much great stuff in here. All right, so I think that's just about the end. I see some questions in the chat. I know that I've already gone over time. I tried to set this one at 60 minutes to not talk as much, but I still went a little over. I'm happy to stay and answer these questions. Anyone who needs to leave, you're more than welcome to. But let me try to get into this. All right, let me stop sharing. And if you are leaving, Jazakallahu khair. It was wonderful to have you. Okay, when I used to go to public school, my principal didn't let me pray. Ooh, so that's a really interesting one, right? And that's where there are groups like CARE and the Council on American Islamic Relations and other things, and try to get your parents involved. Try to use hikma, right, and wisdom. Don't just go in all guns blazing and so on. But you should inshallah have that ability, and you should advocate, and don't let one no be the only thing that you hear, right? Don't be like the pike who ran into that wall. Be the one who can keep on going. Can you send us the link of the slideshow so we can access all the links in it without the hassle? Good idea. I have done that before. I didn't do that this time. But inshallah, everyone will get a recording and everyone will get all the links in the whatchamacallit, in the email follow-up to this. Can you please share the website for the Lunar Moms? I don't know if Sister Dua is still here. I don't know that they have a website. I mean, I'm sure you could Google it. Sorry, for some reason my Zoom is acting really weird and I can't scroll down. So how do I do this? Okay. No, still can't zoom down. I can't actually see these questions. Rahina, if you're upstairs, could you just bring your computer downstairs so I can see the questions? I don't know how to. It's saying I can't minimize this while I'm recording. Okay, Q&A. Everything's just. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But so yeah, the WhatsApp group is actually a Path to College WhatsApp. Thank you. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. So we were on, can you please share the website? So the Lunar Moms, just to be clear, is a group in Mason, Ohio, that they called themselves the Lunar Moms, and they came up with this idea and advocacy. I actually think they absolutely should create a brand and teach that same training and go into a lot more depth with people. I don't know if they have, but please reach out to Sister Dua or reach out to me. I can put my WhatsApp number in the chat, although here we go. 617-610-7084. So that's my WhatsApp number. Anyone who wants to ask me any questions or anything, you can always reach me that way by WhatsApp. Okay, I only drink water for suhoor, and I'm not usually hungry, but is it recommended that I should eat, or water is fine? So I'm not a medical doctor by any means, but what I've learned about suhoor from personal experience is eating some of those like more healthy foods with energy giving food. Essentially, the fewer ingredients that are in our food, and this goes for everything, the better. Right? So if you grab a bag of Cheetos, which I've eaten plenty of Cheetos in my life, right? And you look at the number of ingredients, it's scary, right? But if you grab an apple or a banana, right? There's only one ingredient, right? And it's the closer things are to the fitra, the closer things are to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, the better. And those are the sorts of things ideally that you should be eating at that time. And definitely drinking water. I recommend, there's nothing like getting up as a family and having suhoor as a family if possible. Do you have to sleep before you pray tahajjud? Again, I'm not a scholar, but what I've asked that question before, and if you are afraid that you're not going to be able to wake up, you can pray tahajjud and make the niyyah for tahajjud praying, before you sleep, right? Ideally, tahajjud's in the last third of the night, after you slept and so on. And Ramadan is a great time for that, but you can make niyyah and you can pray that qiyam earlier in the day. What factors should I consider when going to college, such as environment and people around me? Mashallah, that's a big question. There are a lot of things to think about. I think one thing that people don't think about that Muslims really should is what is Muslim campus life like? I should put that website out there too. If you Google Muslim campus life, you'll come to one of my friends, Salman Khan's, his website, and he has done a lot of work around advocating for the needs of Muslims on college campuses, and there's a great guide for Muslims around college as well. But you want to look at what is the MSA like, right? That's probably gonna, inshallah, be your home base. Some MSAs are very large and active and vibrant. Some barely exist, right? Some are ultra liberal. Some are, more on the conservative end of the spectrum. Some places have chaplains, Muslim chaplains. Some do not. Some have halal food in the dining halls, and some do not. Some are in cities and there's masjids all around, right? Some have just a tiny little musalla hidden somewhere on campus, and so on. So trying to figure out what Muslim life, that's one other thing. There are a lot of other things to look for in college, and that's a good question, but there's too much to really go into. What if you want to do something as a major, but many people say I'm over ambitious and it will never happen? Well, I love when people tell me I can't do it. Okay. Now I don't know you, anonymous attendee, so I don't want to give very specific advice, but if people doubt you, but you don't doubt yourself, you can do whatever you want, right? Now, that being said, strategically, applying for the most competitive majors, right? If you're going into biology or you're going into, some, engineering or something like that, it is going to put you in the most competitive applicant pool. I think one of the reasons that I got into Harvard was that my profile was unusual. Here's a white guy, ancestors came over on the Mayflower who became Muslim and wants to study Arabic and Middle Eastern history, right? That's not their normal profile of someone coming from a suburban private school outside of Boston, right? That I was a purple cow. I looked a little bit different, and I wanted to study something which they had hired professors who needed to teach those classes, and I wanted to take those classes. And I guarantee you, my Islamic philosophy and theology class that I took as a freshman, it had like 12 or 15 people in it, whereas Economics 101 had over 1,000 people in it, right? So they have these small classes, these small departments, they need to fill everything. So sometimes coming in as an unusual major that's connected to your qibla, that don't just do this because you think it will look good for college, it will help me get into college. But if you have some sort of unusual interest, one of my students that I worked with, she was into two things, right? She was into computer science, which is very popular, but women in STEM and so on is good. But then she was also into classical, ancient Greek and Latin, right? She loved those, and she wrote an amazing essay where she was talking about what ancient Greek had taught her about computer science and what computer science had taught her about ancient Greek, and it was just beautiful and different and really, really cool. And when you have two seemingly very different subjects, again, those are those things that help you stand out. So yes, proceed with your dreams. Obviously, think carefully. Talk to an expert. Talk to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and so on. But definitely pursue your dreams. Would all of this apply if you are homeschooled? So I noticed there's a lot of people in public school, right? So homeschool, mashallah, our kids were homeschooled as well up until um, my daughter went when she was in 8th grade. She went back to Islamic school, or back to an Islamic school. But and my son is still homeschooled. He's a 6th grader. So homeschooling is an amazing opportunity to really make a lot of choices, for how the studies look and what sorts of things that you do. So applying as a homeschooler, if you're a full-time homeschooler in high school, is a little bit different. We can maybe do a webinar on that later if there's interest in it. I don't know as much, but I know people who have gone through that process and so on. But essentially, you do need to have a transcript. You do need to be able to document what you're doing academically. Sometimes test scores become even more important for homeschoolers. Sometimes homeschoolers will take dual enrollment courses or AP courses or other things from accredited institutions, to make sure that they're staying on track with their credits and so on. But you can also do so many other things. Hopefully it's easy for you to pray if you're homeschooled, and you don't have, the principal's not going to say no, inshallah. When we get bad grades, our parents get mad but don't know that we try. They think that it's just easy to do straight away. MashaAllah. Hope the parents who are still here are listening to that. That is also, I should add that one word for word to the list that I have of things that I hear. 100% agree, right? Grades are not everything, right? There's a book by the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad called Why A Students End Up Working for C Students. I know this is probably not something I should say as a college counselor, but why A students end up working for C students, right? Because the qualities which you need to be successful in the classroom don't map exactly onto the qualities that you need to be successful in the real world, right? You need to be able, to put yourself out of your comfort zone. My business coach gave me this crazy challenge that I'm really struggling with. He said that I have to go up to 20 random people and ask them for $5, right? No context. I can't say, hey, my business coach told me to do this. I just have to go and ask people for $5, and it scares me so much, right? And clearly that means it's something I need to do because I need to be able to put myself out of my comfort zone and so on. So C students, not C students, but students, if you don't have the grades, I get it, and your parents want the best for you, and so on, right? And there are things you can do to become a better student. I just led the whole study skills class. There are ways you need to learn how to learn. You need to understand what learning actually is. Most people think learning is about stuffing information into your brain. Learning is actually about pulling information out of your brain. Okay? It's not about how much you can cram inside, it's how much you can extract. And there are strategies you can use to become a better student so that you get the better grades, right? And you actually go to the root of the issue rather than dealing with the consequences, namely the grades. At the same time, like, don't think that a couple bad grades here or there are going to short circuit your whole future. Okay? I thought I had these great grades when I applied to school. I always thought about it. I found my high school transcript the other day, and I discovered that I got various B's over the course of my high school career that I'd like forgotten about. I'd changed the narrative in my mind, right? But alhamdulillah, it's possible to still succeed even when you don't have these perfect grades. And the other thing that I'd say is, there is a college out there that is perfect for you, right? There is a college out there that's custom tailored for you. And sometimes it's better to be a big fish in a small pond, right? Than to be like just this minnow, right? In this huge, crazy ecosystem where everyone's like a super crazy high achiever and the competition is fierce and so on. Sometimes going to a school that's more in line with your personality. That's where professional college counseling and help can really help, not just in getting into the best schools, right? But also getting into the right school. That's the most important thing, that you get into a school where you can put that vision that you have for yourself in place. If you go to ultra competitive school and you fall down and you fall short, right? And you don't end up graduating. I saw a statistic the other day that's so scary. Only 52% of the people who start college actually graduate from college. Only 52% of the people who start college actually go on to get their degree, right? And so getting into college is not the goal, right? The goal isn't even graduating from college. The goal is to find that qibla and get that life that we were talking about, right? And college is a stepping stone. Anyway, do you recommend private or public school? I have been going to public school for 7 years, but my dad won't let me to go to public school with my friends. I'm a little confused by that question just because if you've been going for public school and then he won't let you go to public school. But anyway, private or public school, that's a really big question. It really depends on so many different individual factors. I did both. I went to public school. I did switch to private school about halfway through my schooling, and then I did go to private school in high school. It was a wonderful experience. but it was like my family, my father had gone to that school, my grandfather had gone to that school. There's a big family tradition. They never expected that I would become Muslim going to that school. So obviously I have very warm and fuzzy feelings about the place where I found Islam and so on. But it was a great experience. But I've seen public school students who also do really well. Obviously these days, there are challenges in the public school. Some of the curricular things that are going on and other things and different agendas that you're having to sit through. And so all I'd say is most private schools have very similar issues to those. The biggest difference I see is that private schools are really trying to train leaders. They're trying to train the you know the people who are going to be at the top of society. Whereas public schools, just because you go to public school doesn't mean this needs to be you. In fact, it shouldn't be you. But public schools are trying to create consumers. They're trying to create the people in the middle who are going to buy all those products that the leaders are going to do. You can be a leader coming from homeschool, coming from public school, coming from Islamic school, right? That's a choice you need to make. But it happens more naturally, like they push you towards it. Like mashallah, the Islamic school I've taught at for all this time, we consistently send kids to the Ivy League because it's like built into like the ethos of the school, and it's high achieving and pushing people in that direction. And that just isn't the case in some public schools, right? Some public schools, that's not what people are talking about. But on the other hand, the resources you have at that public school would make what we had at the Islamic school like pale in comparison. And same with private schools. I used to teach at a private school. The tuition was like $75,000 a year. You can imagine what the campus was like, and then to go to an Islamic school, right? You can imagine the difference, right? But okay. He helped me be more organized, definitely. Inshallah. Definitely. Any of these questions, great questions. I highly encourage you to book the meeting with me. I know that mashallah, we have a hearty, I think there's 36 people still here on this meeting, mashallah. When is the next meeting? I'm not sure exactly what that means. I want to keep doing these webinars. I think they bring a lot of value. I have to balance it with doing this Find Your Qibla program. That's going to be my main focus in this Ramadan and so on, is getting those students the results, right? This is our premium top of the line coaching program, and I really want to be focused on them, but I will continue to try to put out webinars like this and bring other people to speak. Can I work in the masjid in Ramadan at like a daycare? My parents said no, I have to go to pray Taraweeh, but I would pray Taraweeh the whole week except Saturday and Friday. Sorry, I see everything. So do you recommend? I don't want to get involved in a dispute between you and your parents, but hypothetically, in this situation, I would try to listen to both sides. But in general, I would say doing something like babysitting in Ramadan can be very, very beneficial, right? Of course, we need to have our spiritual stuff in place. But when you're babysitting, you are letting other adults and other kids pray in a much quieter environment. So inshallah, if you make dua and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He'll give you the reward for that. And you can obviously pray Tarawih, maybe a shorter version on your own, right? And you're learning new skills of how to keep rowdy kids in order and so on. So, I've had a lot of students who did the Ramadan day camps and other things that they have to try to keep the Tarawih area quieter. So I think that's a great thing to do to get a little bit of experience and so on. Can we get a recording? Yes, inshallah. I hope that it recorded properly. Yep, it says recording. Good. Whew, should have checked that like an hour and a half ago. When did I become Muslim? I became Muslim in 1994. Although last week I wrote in my Substack, if you go to the Substack, I wrote an article called How I Found My Qibla, which is sort of my story. And I became Muslim when I was 15, but I didn't really take Islam as my like way of life and make the decision that I'll never miss a salah again and so on until I was 20, right? And there's a story behind that. So that was the year 2000. So a while ago. Can I share the accommodating Muslim students? Yes, absolutely. I don't know if you're still here, but that was shared in the group. We got permission to share it here, and she said she created it to be shared. So please share widely. And thank you for sharing the suhoor menu. That was very helpful. Alhamdulillah, that's great. Inshallah. And you'll get the exact what should we call it? If there are any other questions, let me know. Inshallah. I know we've all been here quite a while, and I'm sure people want to go. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward those of you who stayed all the way till the end. I really appreciate it. I haven't been keeping up in the chat if there's anything there. I apologize, but hopefully I got to all of your questions, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. May He make this Ramadan change. May He allow us to find our Qibla. And may He give us the best in this world and the next. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.